Lord, it's a miracle!
What are miracles, and are they real? The Bible mentions them quite often. Does this disqualify the Bible? Before we begin on miracles, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that little bell notification next to it so you'll be notified of new videos that are soon to drop. So let's begin. A miracle is an extraordinary event of divine intervention that transcends nature with the purpose of glorifying God. Examples of miracles in the Bible include Moses' staff turning into a snake, the parting of the Red Sea, Mary's virgin birth, Jesus walking on water, and his resurrection. Many opponents of the Bible argue that it cannot be trusted because of the Bible's depiction of miracles. These opponents cite Scottish philosopher David Hume's arguments against miracles that suggest that since miracles are violations of the laws of nature, and the laws of nature are unalterable and firm, miracles are impossible. And since they are impossible, all the aforementioned miracles are, of course, fabricated. What about all the eyewitness accounts, you ask? Well, since miracles can't possibly happen according to Hume, any eyewitness who claims to have witnessed a miracle is a liar. And since all miracle eyewitnesses are liars, we can't possibly believe in any eyewitness account. It's a circular argument.
Well, David Hume's a very curious person to quote on this topic, because David Hume didn't believe really in the laws of cause and effect on which laws of nature are founded. He didn't believe in causality, and he didn't appear to believe in the principle of induction. And so that he's not a very good authority to quote.
Thank you, Professor Lennox. Are really all eyewitnesses liars? Dr. Craig Keener is an authoritarian on miracles. He has written 4 volumes, more than 4,000 pages on miracles. What does he have to say?
There was a 2006 Pew Forum survey of Pentecostals and Charismatics in just 10 countries. So this is not the whole world, this is just 10 countries in several continents. And if you take the figures and you add them up, for these countries alone, and for the Pentecostals and Protestant Charismatics in these countries alone, the estimated total of those who claim to be witnesses of divine healing comes out to somewhere around 200 million people.
Wow, that's a lot of no good, dirty liars. You said it, Fluffy. Now, of course, some of these eyewitnesses likely aren't credible. And though many of them were telling the truth, what they witnessed probably wasn't a miracle. I'm not suggesting God was not involved, but rescuing a child from a well, landing a damaged plane safely, or Uncle Frank losing 5 pounds aren't miracles in the strictest sense, though God was surely directing traffic. Still, with 200 million eyewitnesses, could there not be some bona fide miracles among them? I'm with you, Ryder. But aren't our atheist friends going to challenge the credibility of these witnesses since they are Pentecostals? Good question. Let's go back to Dr. Keener.
Somewhere around 39% of other Christians, that is, people who are not Pentecostals or Protestant Charismatics, somewhere around 39% in these countries claim to have witnessed divine healings. So we may be talking about somewhere around 1/3 of Christians worldwide who've witnessed what they believe to be divine healing. There was a 2008 Pew Forum survey where 34% of Americans claimed to have witnessed or experienced divine or supernatural healing.
Okay, but what about non-Christians?
And it's not just people coming from Christian presuppositions, saying, okay, well, I got better, so it must have been a miracle. Millions of non-Christians have been convinced and changed centuries of ancestral beliefs, sometimes at great social cost to themselves, because of extraordinary healings.
Well then, I have no further questions. So hold on. Miracles are real? You mean David Hume is a scum-sucking liar? Jeez, Uncle Frank, calm down. We know there are miracles, Frank. Just this morning we were saying, it's a miracle Fluffy Pants knows how to dress himself. Yes, that's right. And we were saying yesterday that it's a miracle Fluffy Pants no longer has to wear pull-ups. I've never worn pull-ups. And what are you talking about, Tuffy? You aren't wearing anything. Focus, guys. Yes, Uncle Frank, miracles are real. Miracles are real. Dr. Keener in his books documents supernatural healings. And not just sore throats being healed. We're talking about limbs and organs being regrown. People who haven't walked for years suddenly standing up. Tumors disappearing overnight. And these aren't rumors. There are doctors' reports and eyewitnesses documenting these miraculous events. Critics cannot use miracles as evidence that the Bible is false. So, are you suggesting that God is at work in our lives? Absolutely. But God isn't always as obvious here in the U.S. as he is in other parts of the world where Christianity is just taking root. However, God's providence still works through the hands of surgeons, pilots, social workers, doctors, pastors, and so on. Here's a good example. Have you ever heard of Tim Tebow? Nope, not a clue. He's that guy who rescued all those POWs from that jungle, right? Yeah, and he played that weird horseback riding game with the Taliban. Yeah, and he shot up a town because the cops were total jerks.
Galt!
That's Rambo, you doofs, not Tebow. Tim Tebow was a quarterback for the University of Florida Gators. He was the first player to ever win a Heisman Trophy as a sophomore, and he won the national championship the following year. Yeah, that was my next guess. Sounds like a bit of an underachiever to me. Do his footballs explode when he throws them at his enemies? No, he's not Rambo. Let me get to the story. On January 8th, 2009, during the national championship game, Tim Tebow wrote John 3:16 in the eye black under his eyes, as you can see here. Over the next 24 hours, John 3:16 generated 94 million views on Google. Way to get the word out, God! Fast forward 3 years to January 8th, 2012. Exactly 3 years later to the day. Tim Tebow is quarterback for the Denver Broncos, and they are playing the favored Pittsburgh Steelers. The Broncos win the game from a touchdown pass from Tim Tebow in overtime. But beating the Steelers wasn't what was so remarkable. During the game, Tim Tebow threw for 316 yards. His yards per completion were 31.6. His yards per rush were 3.16. The Steelers quarterback threw the game's only interception on 3rd and 16. Denver's time of possession in the game was 31.06, and the Nielsen ratings peaked at 31.6. During the game, John 3:16 was searched 91 million times on Google and was the #1 trending topic across all platforms.
And a lot of people will say, it's coincidence. I say, big God.
Tebow looks amazing, but I thought he wore a bandana around his head. Again, not Rambo. Okay guys, we'll end it today with Tebow's words. Your worst nightmare. Okay, the Rambo joke is getting old. Actually, it started old. Guys, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe and our bell notification. If you are interested in Christian news around the world, we will be releasing weekly Christian news reports. So please look for those. And remember guys, we have a big God. Love you. Have a blessed week.